Another edition of the GameCorp Retro Review. I'm Chad, he's Matt. This is the review of True Lies for the SNES, brought to you by LJN. Matt, we're not going to beat around the bush. We're going to hop right on into this. Let's talk graphics. Matt, I'm going to throw it to you first.
I actually like the graphics quite a bit. I appreciate the fact that the environments are all different and varied. The only thing I'll say is that the setup form kind of tunnels you along the same path. So, I mean, even though they look different, the way you play through them doesn't necessarily change. But other than that, the character designs look pretty good, if not a little bit on the heavy on the cartoony side, not realistic, but still pretty good. I would say no more than a 3, though. Fairly average.
I would agree with that. There's a shocking amount of blood in this game, which I think, if we did halves, I think would give us a 3.5 because, wow, I was not expecting that. But yeah, I would agree with everything you said. Matt, take us away with the sound.
Sound is a tale of kind of two things with me. Like as far as sound effects and things of that nature, everything here, like gunfire and the enemy grunts when they die and stuff like that. It's all fine. It all works on a, you know, the way it's supposed to and everything. Where I kind of get held up is in the music. I feel like the music here is rather generic, and there's only like maybe 2 or 3 different tracks throughout all of the stages that kind of loop. And to me, that brings down the score quite a bit. So I would say, due to lack of variety, I'm going to probably go with a 2 on this one.
I'm not going to go much higher. I am going to go with a 3, but I agree with everything you said with regards to the music. Mega Man, this is not. But I love the sound effects, especially of the airplane level, so much that I had to give it one higher because I was a fan. So I'm giving it a 3. Gameplay, Matthew, take it away.
Gameplay it's nothing too unique. It feels very Smash TV meets kind of Zombies Ate My Neighbors in a sense. There is a certain sense of exploration to it, unlocking things, but don't expect much more in terms of variety other than just like, oh, a key to unlock a door and maybe one top-down shooter level. But other than that, for what it is and how it plays fine. The only real issue I have, I don't know if you experienced this, is I had an issue with hit detection with the aiming of the gun and trying to hit an enemy, because this game tries to aim in 8 directions and it doesn't always pan out very well. Um, but other than that, it's fun and I had a solid time with it. So I think I'm gonna go with a solid. I'm gonna honestly say a solid 4.
I will give it a 3. I agree with everything you said. The hit detection was a bit of a problem for me, but it's an ambitious problem. It's one of those where you can sit here and say sometimes a game fails because they didn't know what they were doing. Sometimes a game fails because it was trying to be ambitious, and I think with regards to hit detection, it was trying to be ambitious. I agree with the zombie ate my neighbor analogy. I thought that was 100% like what they were going for. The levels are designed like it's a zombie ate my neighbor's level, so there's clearly some I guess foresight or forethought into the design of the game. I'll give it a 3. It was mostly functional. The hit detection was the only major issue, and for an SNES shoot 'em up, like you're not really gonna, like, you're not expecting it to be, fucking Grand Theft Auto. So, Matthew, fun factor.
I did have quite a bit of fun with this. Again, this is another thing where I got hung up. I feel like I would have had more fun if the levels weren't too long to play. I feel like there was things that could have been shortened up for time. You could have had a much more enjoyable experience out of it. I feel like they were trying to do maybe too much at times. That whole ambitious thing coming back. But aside from that, the gunplay itself is very fun. The variety of weapons makes it more interesting and fun to tinker around with. And um, for what it is, it's a good time. And I'm surprised by the fact that one, it's LJN, and two, it's licensed. But for fun, it's a solid 4, honestly.
Well, I think the licensed game idea does kind of get a bad rep because we played some good licensed games during these reviews. The LJN is shocking as hell. As far as the game goes with regards to its enjoyment, I do agree that it was a bit long. But I also think that when you're talking about a game from this era, that's not necessarily a bad thing because you are getting more bang for your buck because there's no DLC coming. So I'll give Fun Factor a 4. I don't know what you gave Fun Factor because you didn't actually say anything.
I think I did. I think I said a 4.
Okay.
Did I?
4 it is. Matthew, challenge.
Um, see. Challenge. This game is slightly difficult. Not too bad. It's just all about skill level. I think when it comes down to the aiming, it could lead to some pretty cheap deaths, honestly. But it's not too hard to beat if you just keep dodging and stuff. A lot of this game, you don't have to shoot everything. You can just get to the end of the stage and be fine. So I would have to say it's fair enough, but it's not perfect. Maybe a 3.
I think I would agree with that. It's beatable, but it's not necessarily the hardest thing in the world. But that's also not necessarily a bad thing, considering that the limitations of the hardware at the time. This is kind of like the perfect, what I like to call Saturday afternoon game. You don't need to worry too much about passwords or super hard difficulty. You're not sitting there wondering why the hell you can't get past a level that turns out it was broken in the first place. So I think all in all, it does its job, and that's exactly what you're looking for. So total game play is a 16 out of 25. That gives us a 64%, which means it's playable. Go get a copy today. For Matt Hedrick, I'm Chad Pardo. RealNerdCorp.com, RealNerdCorp.com, on the Twitter at NERDCORP, on the Instagram at RealNerdCorp. Be sure to download the podcast down below. And until next time, have a good one.